Oh hi, I'm Ferdinand the Cardboard Stacker, and welcome to the Quick Start tutorial to Love Letter Premium Edition, an enhanced version of Seiji Kanai's most beloved game. This Premium Edition not only contains the original Love Letter, it has new cards, and you can play up to 8 players. Now please give me a moment. I am working on my report, and we'll get to the tutorial very soon. Love Letter is a micro game of deduction by Seiji Kanai and published by AEG. The original game included plays with 2 to 4 players, and the new games in the Premium Edition plays around 5 to 8 players. A typical round of the game plays roughly in 5 minutes, and it's for 14 and up. When you open the box, you will find a rulebook, 32 cards, 16 from the original and 16 new, 25 tokens of affection, 1 gesture token, 40 sleeves for all the cards, including 8 for the reference cards. In the game of Love Letter, you are a suitor trying to get your letter to the princess. Your goal is to score 4 affection tokens at any time to win the game. In a round, there are 2 ways to score an affection token. Either be the last remaining player in the round, or be the player to hold the highest number card at the end of the round after the deck is depleted. What makes this edition different from the original are the 10 new character cards, which not only gives new ways to throw off your rival suitor, some of the new rules can help you score extra affection tokens from the princess. While the box of Love Letter Premium Edition comes with 2 games, we will only focus on the 5 to 8 player game. Even with the addition of more cards, the game rules have minor changes and it plays like the original. To start a round, give each player a reference card. Place the token of affection and the gesture token on the board in easy reach of all players. Next, form the deck by shuffling all 32 cards. Finally, before beginning a round, remove the top card of the deck without revealing it. Begin the round by dealing out 1 card to all players. The player to go first is the one who most recently went on a date, or the youngest player. On a player's turn, they draw a card and place it into their hand. They now have a choice of 1 or 2 cards to discard and do its effect. The discarded card remains in front of the player who played it, and the turn passes to the next player to the left. Players can be knocked out of the round. If this is the case, then that player discards their hand in front of them and waits until the round is over. When the deck runs out of the cards at the end of the player's turn, all remaining players compare to see who has the highest value card. If there is a tie, then all tied players will play a separate round to determine the winner. And the first player to get 4 affection tokens at any time becomes the winner. That includes during the round. Now let's take a look at an example of play. Let's begin a round of Love Letter for 5 players. We'll begin with a full round explanation, followed by a few other things found in the game. First, we shuffle all the cards. Second, the top card is discarded. And finally, deal out a card to each player. In this demonstration, Luca's hand will remain open for the purpose of understanding the game better. He will be competing with his rival suitors, Bartholomew, Gianni, Ivan, and Michael. Round 1 begins and Luca draws a card and then discards guard, which says, name a card other than 1 and choose another player. If they have that card in their hand, they are knocked out of the round. Luca picks Michael and asks if he has a 3 card. Michael said he doesn't have that card and removed to the next player to the left. Bartholomew draws and discards Cardinal, which says, choose 2 players. They must trade hands. Look at one of their hands. He chooses Gianni and Ivan to switch hands and look at the card Ivan has now. It's Gianni's turn and he draws a card and discards a handmade card. The player who plays the handmaid is not affected by other players' cards' effect until the beginning of their next turn. Now it's Ivan's turn and he plays a guard. He picks Michael and guesses 7 in his hand. Michael checks and Ivan is incorrect. Michael draws and discards the priest. He then looks at Gianni's hand. Luca discards the prince and uses the effect on Michael, which discards his hand and then draws a new card from the deck. Bartholomew discards the Dowager Queen. The player who plays the Dowager Queen selects another player and both secretly compare hands. The player with the highest number is out. He picks Gianni and both of them compare hands. Since Gianni has a guard worth a value of 1 and Bartholomew has a baron worth the value of 3, Bartholomew loses and discards his hand and now is out of the round. Gianni discards the guard and guesses 8 in Luca's hand. But that's incorrect. Ivan discards the count, which adds 1 to his card's number at the end of the round when players compare hands to determine the winner. For now, it does nothing. Michael discards the sycophant, which says, if the next card play has an effect that requires 1 or more players to be chosen, they must be one of them. He selects Gianni to be that player. The next card that allows an option to select 1 or 2 players, the player making the decision must select that player. Luca uses the handmaid and becomes protected until his next turn. The sycophant's ability does not take effect in this case because the card played does not apply. Gianni plays the guard's effect on Ivan, calling out 2 on him, but Ivan says he is wrong. It's Ivan's turn and he discards the countess. Although the effect of the countess says the player must discard her if they hold a prince or a king, a player may discard her without effect, hoping to throw off other players. Michael plays the baroness. Her effect is, choose 1 or 2 players, look at their hands. He cannot select Luca because he is currently under the effect of the handmaid. So he selects both Gianni and Ivan and look at their hands. Luca now discards the priest and looks at Gianni's hand. Gianni was lucky to draw a constable and discards him to use his effect. The constable allows a player to gain an affection token if they get knocked out in a round. Ivan discards the cardinal and has Luca and Gianni switch hands. He then looks at Gianni's card. On Michael's turn, he discards the jester. The player who played the jester makes a bet by playing a jester token on a player. If that player wins the round, they get an affection token as well. The yellow jester token is placed on Gianni. It's Luca's turn again, and he discards the sycophant and uses his effect on Gianni. Now that it's Gianni's turn, he is still affected by the sycophant's ability. With a bit of bad luck, he discards the prince and has to select himself because of the effect. In result, he has to discard the princess. If a player discards the princess, then they are immediately out of the round, and because he has the constable in the discard, he gains an affection token. In addition, he was knocked out during the round, so the jester token does not score. Ivan discards the guard and uses the effect on Luca, who holds an assassin. After guessing a 4, Luca reveals he has an assassin and Ivan is out of the round discarding his hand. And then Luca gains a new card from the deck. So far, there are only 2 more players left, and Michael discards the count so he adds 1 to his card in his hand at the end of the round. Luca discards a card and guesses a 6. Ivan says he's wrong and draws the last card. It's another guard, and the only 2 cards in his hand could be the king or the bishop. He thinks Luca is playing a mind game with him, so he guesses a 6. It turns out that Michael is wrong. Now the deck has no more cards, the round ends and the remaining players compare hands. Even though Michael's baron's value is raised to 4 thanks to the count's effect, Luca is clearly the winner with the bishop card. With Luca being the winner, he gains a token of affection. This ends the round, and so all the cards are shuffled and everyone plays another round. This covers a full round of play. Now here are some examples that cover some other effects and rules in the game that didn't get mentioned. The bishop card is an interesting one. While worth a 9, the princess can beat it when comparing hands at the end of the round. His ability is like the guard. When you discard him, a player names a number other than 1 and selects another player. If he is right, then the player who played him gets an affection token without revealing it. the player with the guest card may discard and draw a new one. The card that was removed in our round was the king. As for its effect, the player who discards him selects one other player to exchange cards with. The count's effect does stack, so a player with 2 counts discarded in front of him adds 2 points instead of 1 at the end of the round. And the Baron, when discarded, has the player and one other one of his choice to secretly compare hands. The player with the lower value is out of the round, and if there's a tie, then the players keep their cards. At times, even during the round, a player that gets the 4th Heart of Affection immediately becomes the winner of the game. These will be cards such as the Constable, Jester, and Bishop. Cards like the Assassin and the Prince may require a player to draw a card for its effect. However, if the deck is empty, that player draws and takes in hand the first card that was removed face down. And rounds and games can end on a tie. If this happens to be the case, then all tied players play any additional rounds until one player wins the complete affection of the princess. And that concludes our quick start tutorial for Love Letter Premium Edition. If you fell in love with our video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more tutorials. If you'd like to know more about Love Letter Premium Edition, please visit the AEG website for more information and find other Love Letter games. Oh, and before you leave, make sure you visit our Patreon page if you want to support us. Thanks for stopping by, and remember to keep on stacking games.